What is up guys, Stark here. I am back with day 6 of the 25 Days of Fate, and in today's video we will be doing another character spotlight, and in this one we will be taking a look at Osakabehime. Now, I have been telling you guys that I've been away for training at work this week, and I have returned from that training. So after today's video I should be able to start rolling out some sort of like newer videos and a little bit like longer and in-depth videos. So hopefully this will be the last one where I really have to like rush through it, so hopefully that'll help you guys out in the long run. But for now, like I said, we are talking about Osakabehime, and she was a character I meant to do back when she came out, and for some reason or another I never got around to doing it, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at her right now. She is a 5-star assassin, and she does kind of work more of a support assassin, which is a little bit unusual, but it isn't necessarily a bad thing. So at level 90, she will have 13,822 HP and 10,824 attack. This will rank her 31st overall in HP and 44th overall in attack. Her star absorption is 102 and her star generation is 24.6. And then for her noble phantasm generation is going to be 0.83 on her attacks and 4% on defense. So looking at her overview page here, she doesn't need a whole heck of a lot in order to max her out. And she is a permanent servant, so she's not like she's going to go away if you didn't get her when she first came out. You'll have an opportunity to pull her in pretty much every banner that you pull on, so hopefully one of these days you'll get lucky and just pull her out of the gacha. And I do think that is really the best course of action for her. I don't think she's necessarily like a must-have, but if you do get her, she's going to be a nice addition to your team. So let's go ahead and roll through her skills here, and she's a tricky one to really take a look at because she has some stuff that's okay, and then she has some stuff that's coming out later via interludes and rank ups that make this character significantly better. Now, I'm not going to factor that into her ranking today, but I will show you guys some of the upgrades that she will get so you guys can determine whether or not she's a character you want to go for because of the ability to have her get better in the future. So her first skill is going to be the Morph A+. And this will increase her defense for 3 turns, as well as greatly increasing her defense by 30% for 1 turn, and this will also increase her debuff resistance for 3 turns. So this is a very good skill here. She's going to have some pretty good tank ability with this first skill, getting a 20% increase to your defense, and then a 30% increase on top of that for 1 turn. And then you'll also do have the ability to resist debuffs for 3 turns at 40%. On a 5-turn charge time is pretty good. You're going to have a pretty consistent increase to your defense there, and especially that 1 turn, you're going to have some pretty strong defense there. Now, this skill is pretty good overall, but it does actually get better. There will be an upgraded, I think it's a interlude quest for her. One of them's the interlude, the other one's a rank up quest, I believe. Yeah, so this one's going to be the interlude, and this one won't be coming out for a long time for us. So I don't really know how much you want to put into this. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys what it is because it is available to look at. This will upgrade her skill to the 4 Gods Divination Hakuro A. And everything else will stay the same that I just said, except it'll get an additional effect. And this will increase all of your allies' critical damage for 3 turns. And this will be a 50% increase to critical damage. And it still does retain that 5-turn charge time at maximum level. So that actually makes the skill like quite good. So that's nice, but it will be a long time in order for us to get this skill. So hopefully between now and then, probably be like over a year before we get this. But hopefully between now and then you can get that character, and then you'll be able to benefit from the upgraded skill. Moving on to her second skill, it's going to be the Chiyogami Technique EX, and this will increase the Noble Phantasm gauge of 1 ally, as well as increasing that ally's critical star drop rate for 3 turns. So this is a nice skill in the fact that you can target any ally you want, and you do get that 20% increase to your gauge, and a lot of times that is enough to complete the Noble Phantasm gauge, so you can go ahead and fire off that Noble Phantasm. And you do also get that increase to your critical star drop rate as well, with a 50% increase at level 10, and once again this is going to be on a 5-turn charge time. So she's got some really low cooldowns here to start off with. And then her final skill is going to be the Castle Apparition A++. This will decrease the defense of 1 enemy for 1 turn, and this will also remove that enemy's buffs. So this is a fairly good skill. Anytime you have the ability to remove buffs off of an enemy is going to be fantastic. You know, you can take her into boss fights and remove those buffs they put on themselves, and makes the fight just a little bit easier, if not a lot easier, to win. And you also do reduce the defense by 40%. Now it is just for one turn, but you can combo that into like your major burst turn, and it is on a 5-turn charge time as well. Now this is a little bit high considering it only lasts for one turn, but overall it is still a very low cooldown, so there's really not much to complain about there. As for her passive, she does have 3. The first one is going to be the Territory Creation A+, which will increase your arts card effectiveness by 11%. The second one is going to be the Present Concealment Shadow B, which will increase your critical star drop rate by 8%, but this will also decrease your own debuff resistance by 10%. And then third and finally, she has the Divinity C, which will apply damage plus 150. So overall, I do think she has a really good set of skills that are going to get better in the future, but for now, I'm just going to look at it at face value, and I'm going to hand her a 4 out of 5 for skills. They all have low cooldowns, and they do some really good effects, and have some very useful things as well in the ability to remove buffs off of an enemy. For her command card deck and her Noble Phantasm, she is going to have 2 quick, 2 arts, 1 buster, and the hit counts on those are going to be 4 on the quick, 2 on the arts, 3 on the buster, and 5 on the extra attack. So this is going to be really nice because she does have some pretty high criticals generation, so she has decent hit counts, especially on her quick cards, which is going to be nice. And then she also does have a quick Noble Phantasm, so you can use quick chains if you need to. And her Noble Phantasm, though, like I said, it is a quick Noble Phantasm. It doesn't actually do any damage. It is a pure support Noble Phantasm, but it is actually really good. It will increase the maximum HP of all of your allies for 3 turns, as well as increasing the defense for all of your allies by 20% for 3 turns. And then on the overcharge effect, this will increase the quick card effectiveness of all of your allies for 3 turns. So being able to get this Noble Phantasm off really early on in the game is going to be super beneficial, especially if you're using a quick deck, because then you can just get this buff going, and then, you know, you can build up the Noble Phantasm, and more often than not, you could see yourself in scenarios where you have a constant increase to your quick card effectiveness, and that is going to be very helpful to increase your overall damage. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the upgrade to her Noble Phantasm real fast. Everything stays the same, so we're not going to touch on that too much, but she does get a second overcharge effect, and this will also increase the buster card effectiveness for all of your allies for 3 turns. So now you're going to be able to do the increase to your quick card and your buster card effectiveness, and obviously having 2 out of 3 of the card types getting a 30% increase to a 50% increase depending on your level for that is going to be a huge bonus, and you can pretty much keep this up consistently. So that just ups her viability like so much more, being able to be used in quick decks and buster decks. So as for her damage, I am only going to give her 2.5 stars for damage. That might seem a little bit low, but you have to look at it in the grand scheme of things. Her Noble Phantasm does no damage. She has no sort of attack boosting skills outside of her Noble Phantasm that increases your quick card effectiveness, but you do have to work a little bit in order to use that and keep it sustained. And she's really not going to be the one that does the damage. She's more of a support character that will help other characters deal damage, which is perfectly fine, and it's even better because she's not a caster, so it's not going to have 2 casters on the same team, which could actually be very beneficial to your team setup. But she's just not going to do that much damage, and there's really not much else you can do about it, and that's okay. For this character, that's okay, but at the end of the day, I do have to give it a ranking, so 2.5 stars is what it gets. For her critical ability, I will be giving her 3.5 stars, and this is not factoring in her first skill, like the upgrade to her first skill. We're basically looking at her second skill here, being able to increase the critical star drop rate of one of your allies. That's going to be very helpful, and she is an assassin, so assassins do have that increased ability to generate stars and absorb stars, and she does have some pretty good hit counts on her quick cards, so she should be generating quite a bit of stars, and you know, combo that with her second skill. I think it's fairly fair to give her a 3.5 ranking there. For her Noble Phantasm, I'm also going to give her 3.5 stars, and that is primarily because of the fact that it's not upgraded yet. If it was upgraded, it would get a much higher ranking, but until then, it does increase your quick card effectiveness, which is really nice, and obviously it increases your defense and your max HP. So it is a support Noble Phantasm, but it does limit the amount of uses you can use with it, or the teams you can use with this Noble Phantasm because it is limited to quick cards. So it has a little bit of a drawback there. It doesn't do any damage, and her Noble Phantasm charge is only for 20%. So there's not a lot that you could do there. For her survivability, I'm going to give her 5 stars. I think that's pretty fair. Pretty obvious, really. Noble Phantasm is huge on support with that defense and max HP increase, and then she also does have her first skill to give her a massive increase to her defense, and it is on a low charge time as well, so you can recycle that pretty often. And you can also see yourself in situations where you're stacking like 3 stacks of defense, because you're going to have your Noble Phantasm in your first skill, so that first turn of that first skill, if you have it comboed in with your Noble Phantasm, you're going to get just a massive increase to your defense. So as long as you play it smart and keep that defensive buff up on her the entire time, she should be pretty difficult to kill. She also does have really high natural HP. So overall, even without any invincibility and healing, and I guess she does have healing with her Noble Phantasm, but you know, it is a bit of a drawback to not have invincibility, but she does make up for it somewhat with her defense increases. For her versatility, she is going to get 4 stars, and once again, this is primarily due to the fact that we're not talking about her upgraded Noble Phantasm. Once that happens, she will get a higher ranking in versatility, but for now, she does find herself in the ability to go into a lot of different teams. Even if you don't use her overcharge effect on her Noble Phantasm for quick teams, you're still going to be able to do a lot of increase to your defense and max HP, and every deck has quick cards anyway, so everyone can benefit from her overcharge effect, even if they're not going to take full advantage of it. And she also does have the ability to increase that ally's Noble Phantasm gauge and their critical star drop rate. So she does have a lot of different options she can use for support. So that will give her overall ranking a 3.8 out of 5. This is, again, because we're not talking about her upgrades. So once her upgrades come along, she will get a little bit of a higher ranking. But for now, it is what it is. She's definitely not a bad character, but she is more of a support character, so if that is something that you need, especially for the assassin class, then she is definitely worth going for. But as I said, she's not a limited character, so you can pick her up pretty much whenever she's around, so I wouldn't go out of my way too desperately trying to get her unless she is a character that you really do want. So there it is, guys. That's another character spotlight down. I hope you did enjoy this. If you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I do have the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. So feel free to check those out, as well as the 25 Days of Fate Day 1 Christmas giveaway that I have in my channel. Make sure you comment and subscribe to that so you can enter yourself in the giveaway and have a chance to win a $100 gift card to iTunes and Google Play. But that's going to wrap up this video, guys. I'm going to leave you here with Osakabehime's Noble Phantasm, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
悪路の城、世も守りし少女結界。こちら隔離を治める高津鳥、すなわち私は八天道。百鬼夜行のosakabe姫、千代に八千代にきらめいて。さあ